Hello, everybody, and welcome to Talk About, the show where I, your host, Alex Brown, talk about whatever it is I want to talk about, whether it be the hottest gaming news or the latest and greatest game releases. Talk About is your one-stop shop for all my thoughts and opinions on everything going on within the games industry. And for today's episode of Talk About, we're going to talk about news because there's a lot of news going on this week. I don't really think that there's a lot of news. It's more so there's big news going on this week, and because of that, we're gonna quickly get through the brief channel updates portion of this episode that there always is. Okay, new video essay probably before the end of this year. Like I said in the last talk about video, I'm working on stuff behind the scenes that will go hand in hand to increasing the quality of that video essay. So if you're here for the video essays, stay tuned. It's very likely to come out by the end of this year, but don't hold me to that. But it's gonna be a good one, I think. At least I'm excited about it. And on Alan Wake, like I said also in last episode of Talk About, I am going to do a review video of that once I finish it, because it's a very narrative driven game, and I feel like that one I should roll credits on before I do that. The only problem is I'm a little scared of that game. Okay, like I have to be in the right mood, because once I'm in it, I am in it, right? It's very immersive in that sense. A little teaser of what I'm gonna say when I do that full video, but yeah, it takes a little bit to get back into it, because like I said, once you're in it, you're locked in and you're ready for it. But to starting it back up, it's real spooky times. So I'm still working through it. I'm like 14 hours in. People say it's about a 20-hour game, so based on that, I would say I'm almost ready for that video. We'll see. I have to go to a wedding this weekend, so I don't know if I'll play it much this weekend. But other than that, in terms of updates, oh, I also am doing like a lot of exploration, so that might be slowing down my playtime as well. But other than that, I think that's all of the updates I have to say about channel stuff. Yeah, go watch other videos too, and hit the like button on this one, and subscribe as well. I never say that. Subscribe if you haven't. But without further ado, let's just jump into the news, because yes, there's a lot of news, as I'm sure you are aware. Let's start off with our first story. I didn't even mention at the top. I usually say a little rundown of the news, but you already know what the news is. There's a lot of big news. You know what it is, and I'm talking about all of it. Okay, so let's start. Is it this screen? There we go. Here, this screen. All right. Here's the Rockstar logo. They have a message from Rockstar Games, actually. Let's see what Rockstar Games has to say for us here. Next month marks the 25th anniversary of Rockstar Games. Thanks to the incredible support of our players worldwide, we have had the opportunity to create games we are truly passionate about. Without you, none of this would be possible, and we are so grateful to all of you for sharing this journey with us. In 1998, Rockstar Games was founded on the idea that video games could come to be as essential to culture as any other form of entertainment, and we hope that we have created games you love in our efforts to be part of that evolution. Here's the kicker, folks. We are very excited to let you know that in early December, we will release the first trailer for the next Grand Theft Auto. We look forward to many more years of sharing these experiences with all of you. Thank you, Sam Hauser. All right. Grand Theft Auto 6, folks. We all knew it was happening, but it has officially been announced, I guess. I'm gonna be honest with everyone, though, okay? When it comes to thinking about how Grand Theft Auto 6 would be announced, I did not expect it to be in a blog post from Rockstar themselves, quite honestly. I thought it would be a teaser trailer that they would just release, because if you have been playing games for a while now, you may remember when that Red Dead Redemption 2 teaser trailer just came out one day. And it was a good moment. It was a really cool, exciting moment. A little look into it. But here instead, we are treated with a block of text, and it's exciting, but not as exciting as one would have hoped. I definitely wish they wouldn't have done this blog post instead and just surprised us in early December. But I do believe, like I'm sure you have gathered as well, they felt pressured into formally announcing this because uh, someone from within Rockstar did leak. They did leak the plans for Grand Theft Auto 6 to Bloomberg, and of course, Bloomberg's just doing their job. Jason Schreier out there reporting on the tips he gets. He had to do his job. He did it. He reported that they had plans to do this in December, right? So I guess they just felt pressured to officially say that that is the plan. I would have rather they just kept quiet, me personally, because if it's in early December, it's possible it's going to be at the Game Awards because the Game Awards, Jeff Keighley's Game Awards, is going to, what do you call it? Air, go live, happen. Yeah, it's gonna happen in early December. So that'd be a pretty big get for Jeff Keighley. But the thing with that also, that if that's the one more thing, that'd be a really cool one more thing. I would feel bad for all the other games that are announced at the Game Awards though, because man, oh man, that's gonna be the only thing people talk about. Although now that people know to expect it in early December, maybe it won't take everything's thunder because if it were a surprise as a one last thing, it would definitely take away every other game's thunder that night. But if it is like, oh, we know it's going to be at the Game Awards, it'll be a nice inclusion, you know? It'll be very exciting to have it there. But yeah, Grand Theft Auto 6 has been the official confirmation of it. There it is, right there. We all knew it though. And yeah, that's news. I'll be honest, I'm indifferent on Grand Theft Auto as a franchise. Is it because Grand Theft Auto 5 came out 10 years ago and I already played it 10 years ago, so I kind of, definitely have lapsed as a Grand Theft Auto player since then? Is that why I'm not excited? Probably. I'm sure whatever they have to show with Grand Theft Auto 6 will get me up in arms, up in arms. It'll get me more excited about it. But as of right now, I'm just like, hey, more Grand Theft Auto. Because Grand Theft Auto 5 was just more Grand Theft Auto for the past 10 years. They just kept updating that, and it was just more and more and more. And I was like, great. If you love it, great. That's not for me. I enjoyed it very much, but in 2013, that was 10 years ago. Come on. A new game will definitely get me back into it, though. So I'm excited about that, especially coming off of Red Dead Redemption 2, and that was really good. So they are just going to elevate upon what they've done before. Last thing being Red Dead Redemption 2. Very exciting indeed. But yeah, I think that's all I really have to say in terms of Grand Theft Auto 6. I'm sure everyone is very excited about it. There's not much else to say. There's a bunch of leaks out there about like the location, the protagonists and stuff like that, which are kind of cool, but that's like a lot of work to track all of those things down just to talk about it for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, however long I'm talking about this story. We have a lot of other news stories to get to. But since I did mention it a second ago, it's not officially a news story, so I'm just going to slide it in right here. The Game Awards date, nominations release date, whatever you want to call them, the day in which the Video Game Awards nominations go live has been announced. The Game Awards the nominees. Uh, yeah, I'll go and pull it up because I completely forgot about it. But the nominees are viewed to the public on Monday, November 13th. So that's something to get excited about. If you are like me and are big into the Game Awards and seeing what gets awarded and all that. This was last year's, as you can see. So this is the 2022 nominees. But like I said, the nominees for 2023 go live this Monday. As of the time of recording, it is Thursday, and you're seeing this on Friday, right? You're watching it as soon as it got uploaded, of course, naturally. So this coming Monday, there will be the 2023 nominees. I don't know what time. Did they say what time? News. Let's see. Live. Nominees announced. Nominees Monday. It's finally time. Tune in live on Monday, November 13th at 9 a.m. Pacific time when Jeff Keighley announces. Yeah, when Jeff Keighley announces the nominees for the Game Awards, more than 30 categories, including Game of the Year. Fan voting will immediately open after the announcement, leading up to the live show on Thursday, December 7th, when the winners will be revealed. I said that this wasn't going to be an actual news story, and then I did a full thing. So it's an actual news story. We're sliding it in there. I forgot about it when I was building the show, but we're here now. So the Game Awards, yeah. It goes live. It says it's. Let me embiggen this for you. Shout out to Miss Marvel. It says it's finally time. Tune in live on Monday. Are they gonna? Are they gonna like do a actual video? Because that sounds lame. If I'm being completely honest. Okay, I like how they did it last year, if I remember correctly, at least, where it's just you go to the site and then it's just there. Where they had it like how it's built out here. It's loading. I have good internet, I think. Don't worry. All right. How do I get to nominees? All right. Okay. Give me back to the nominees. Give me 1 second, folks. I am a professional. I'm not a professional. You know that about me. If you're here, you understand, okay? Nominees. Okay. I liked it a lot when last year I believe last year it was just this was laid out for you, and then you could click through them yourself and see what are nominated. And that's what I hope they do, and not an actual video, because no offense, Jeff, I'm sure that is just his way of getting more ad revenue, because that's going to be sponsored by Mountain Dew or something. But yeah, I hope, yeah, cool stuff. Cool stuff. I hope that they do this instead, because I what I want to do is come back here on Monday, film this, record my reactions to going through and selecting best multiplayer and being like, "Whoa, those are the nominees for best multiplayer," and then be great content, you know. But yeah, the big question about the Game Award nominees this year is gonna be Game of the Year, because of course last year, what? I didn't even realize Xenoblade Chronicles 3 got nominated last year. No offense to the people who love that game. I just laughed in your face when I saw it, but that seems odd. Stray definitely didn't deserve to be up there either. No offense to Stray people. The only three that deserve to be here, these deserve to be here for sure. And then Horizon Forbidden West wasn't Game of the Year worthy. But in the difference between last year and this year is that definitely more than 6 games deserve a spot in the Game of the Year category this year. So it's really just the 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 fight to see who gets to the top 6 is going to be as exciting as the actual who won, because that's how many fantastic 10 out of 10 games came out this year. It's going to be crazy. I feel like the the nominees alone for Game of the Year this year are going to be, it's going to reignite some console war stuff on Twitter. Yes, Twitter, by the way, twitter.com. But yeah, it's going to be rough out there. So prepare yourselves, because there are a lot of games a lot of games that deserve to be here, but there's only 6 spots. So it's going to be interesting. And I'm very excited to come back here on Monday and do a reaction to this. Hopefully it looks like this, and because that's a lot more fun of a way to do react than watching a video, I think, at least when it comes to this. But yeah, that's enough of that. That wasn't supposed to be a whole news story, but I ended up doing it anyways. Back to the regularly scheduled programming. Let me go and pull that down and go back to the actual window with all the news. Okay, bad news. Negative news time. As it so happens often, there's always bad news when there's good news. And bad news is that Microsoft is bringing AI characters to Xbox. Story comes from, I didn't mention it the first time because it was Rockstar officially. That's where I got the first news story from. And then it was Game Awards officially, I got the second news story from. So I didn't have to credit them. It was clear. But this news story comes from The Verge, written by Tom Warren. Microsoft is partnering with in-world AI to develop Xbox tools that will allow developers to create AI-powered characters, stories, and quests. The multi-year partnership will include an AI-designed co-pilot system that Xbox developers can use to create detailed scripts, dialogue trees, quest lines, and more. At Xbox, we believe that with better tools, creators can make even more extraordinary games, explains Haiyan Zhang, general manager of gaming AI at Xbox. I apologize if I butchered your name. Naturally. This partnership will bring together in-world expertise in working with generative AI models for character development, Microsoft's cutting-edge cloud-based AI solutions, including Azure OpenAI Service. Microsoft researches technical insights into the future of play. I butchered the reading of that. And Team Xbox's strengths in revolutionizing accessible and responsible creator tools for all developers. The multi-platform AI toolset will include the AI design copilot for scripts and dialogue, and an AI character engine that can be integrated into games and used to dynamically generate stories, quests, and dialogue. InWorld has been working on AI NPCs that react to questions from a player, much like how ChatGPT or Bing Chat responds to natural language queries. These AI NPCs can respond in unique voices and can include complex dialogue trees or personalized dynamic storylines within a game. In-world's technology can also be used for narration, so companions in top-down RPGs can warn of groups of enemies or players up ahead. And then the last bit I want to read here is, where is it? This one? No, this one. Microsoft is only offering this as an optional tool for game developers, so it'll be up to them to decide on the level of generative AI in future titles. That's where I wanted to go and lead off there. But yeah, the gist of the story is bad news, okay? AI, excuse me, generative AI in this form is not good news, okay? It's a real bad look for Microsoft and Xbox. Same, one and the same. But it's not a good look because AI, as we know, is effectively diminishing developers' jobs and taking away jobs from actual people. And that's really what the plan is with AI. That's the end goal with AI, and you cannot convince me otherwise. That the plan isn't to make the job easier for everyone so that they can go, hey, we don't actually need Todd over there, Todd in accounting to do this if we have the AI do it. I guess that doesn't make sense because this is game development, not actual accounting stuff. But that's still the gist of it. Essentially, what AI tools like this is going to bring is give Microsoft and Xbox a reason to lay off more people because it would make their jobs redundant if the AI is capable of doing that. So it's bad news, okay? You can't convince me otherwise. The only good thing I can see with this are the only like positive outlook, the good way I can try to take this news is that it is optional, but if it's if like no one uses it, I feel like Microsoft isn't just gonna let that slide. And I also wonder if this is actually like Big Daddy Microsoft saying, "Hey, Xbox down there, you have to use this stuff." I wonder if this is a Microsoft decision and not necessarily like an Xbox decision, where Microsoft, the big tech company, is like, AI is a great thing. I've heard all these great things about AI. Let's invest in AI for our gaming department, our gaming branch. Xbox, we have games. let's get that AI stuff for them. Why not? That sounds like it's great. And hopefully it's just that the Microsoft side, the big daddy Microsoft, is just so out of touch with it all that Phil Spencer and Team Xbox are just like, hey, hey, everyone under the Xbox Game Studios banner, you don't have to do this. We did not agree to that. You don't have to. That's what I hope. But I know that that's probably not the case. So for now, at least, it's not great. This could be either the best day in gaming or the worst day, because if the worst day is that AI starts to take over, of course, bad news. You saw Terminator, I'm sure. I didn't. I don't know what happened in that. But I think that's the gist of Terminator. But it could also be the best day in the sense that game developers are looking around themselves, are like, hey, maybe we should, dare I say it, unionize? I don't know. Maybe if this partnership is what brings that about finally for game developers, then hey, great job Microsoft for doing this. But if it's the complete opposite, really making me look bad for owning an Xbox. I'll tell you what. And being into Xbox for as long as I have been, please don't make me look like a full Xbox Microsoft, okay? Okay. The only way I could see like generative AI being useful is like doing like a rough outline sort of thing. Like if you have an idea in mind and you just need to help it take shape, but don't do it at the cost of taking other people's jobs away. Or or a cool thing would be, this also is a can of worms of its own, if like you could have the generative AI take a voice actor's lines and make them say your name. Like just have it how in like Starfield and Fallout 4, Codsworth or Vasco will be able to say your player character's name. If they had it so that you could just do that with every character in an RPG, they could just say the name that you put out. They'll, of course, there'll be some flagged phrases, of course, but even that is a pretty slippery slope to just recreate people's voices like that. I think that would be the best case, coolest scenario of it. It'd be that much more immersive, but like I said, it's a slippery slope in of itself. But yeah, that's the news story there in terms of Microsoft and its AI thing. Not a good look, not good news, but hopefully it being optional is true and it's never forced upon anyone. Because man, that would not look good. Although a very specific use case, I feel like, especially from Xbox, would be Bethesda Game Studios, because Starfield, big game, lots of planets, lots of empty planets though. And since they didn't do anything on those empty planets, a generative AI tool in this sense wouldn't be taking anyone's jobs, because Starfield shipped and everyone was, doing their jobs. But if there was a generative AI tool to expand upon what they've already done, it's not. It's like they released Starfield in the state that it was, and they were happy with it. But this AI tool could potentially have filled out the Starfield galaxy more. I don't know, because they didn't. They didn't fill out the galaxy. Let's face it, okay. But this could have, and then that might have been better for the game at the end. At the end of the day, it's a real slippery slope though, because then there's the whole. It's a whole thing, okay. It's a whole thing. Obviously, generative AI exists in games in some form, but not to the extent that it is going to get towards with this sort of stuff. But yeah, not ideal. It's not ideal. But yeah, let's just move on. Okay, let's just move on to our next story. I did it wrong. Try it again. Bam. This also comes from The Verge, written by Andrew Webster. And this could be good news. This could be bad news. It really just depends on who you are. Nintendo is making a live action Legend of Zelda movie. Nintendo's foray into movies isn't stopping anytime soon. The company has confirmed that it's working on a live action adaptation of The Legend of Zelda. The movie will be directed by Wes Ball, best known for the Maze Runner trilogy and the upcoming Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Zelda creator Shigeru Miyamoto will serve as a producer, much as he did on this year's animated Super Mario Bros. Movie. He'll be producing alongside Avi Arad. Yikes. This is Miyamoto. This is, I'm reading his quote. I'm not Miyamoto, in case you got confused there. This is Miyamoto. I have been working on the live action film of The Legend of Zelda for many years now with Avi Arad-san, who has produced many mega hit films, Miyamoto has said in a statement posted on Twitter. Excuse me, Twitter. We might be waiting a while for the movie, however, Miyamoto said, it will take time until its completion, but I hope you look forward to seeing it. And of course, that's the jumping off point. Okay, folks, that's the jumping off point there. Okay, so Legend of Zelda. It's getting a movie. Not just a movie, though. It's a live action movie. I'm sure everyone, after the success of the Super Mario movie, whether you loved it, hated it, or was just like, it's fine, it's a movie. That's where I stand, by the way. People, I'm sure we all thought that, oh, Nintendo's gonna stick with animated movies. And people were all like, well, based on how successful Mario was for them, Zelda is probably the most likely candidate to be the next one. Well, we were right in the sense that Zelda's the next movie, but it's gonna be a live action movie, okay? And I know everyone at the immediately is just concerned. And I get that. I understand that. I was too. Okay, I was where you are. But allow me, if you will, the chance to give you some hope. Okay? Let me give you that. Okay, you mind if I give you that? Let me give me 1 second while I find the exact video. But the director for the director who's currently attached to the Legend of Zelda movie is Wes Ball, and Wes Ball 13 years ago tweeted this on Twitter. Yes, Twitter, because definitely 13 years ago it was Twitter. But he said this 13 years ago. Since I could never even hope to have the chance to direct it, the next big mocap Avatar-like movie should be The Legend of Zelda. This is what he said. He said this. The man who is currently slated to direct the live-action Legend of Zelda movie said this 13 years ago. Wow, yeah, 13 years ago, wow. But yeah, that Zelda should be like Avatar. And if you've seen those James Cameron Avatar movies, you'll know how much they blend the CGI stuff and the actual people stuff. And it's very seamless and it looks fantastic. And I know what you're saying. Whoa, that's pretty high bar to set to make a movie like Avatar. I know what you're saying. That's a big deal, right? Well, if you recall, Wes Ball also, at one point or another, was set to direct this movie based on Mouse Guard. Let me mute that. I don't know what Mouse Guard is, I'll be honest with you, but he was at one point set to direct a movie based on Mouse Guard. And we have footage from like what it was supposed to be. Also, we have his idea for it. This is what it was. I'll read it out to you here. The following is a collection of tests that explore the visual potential of the movie, the Mouse Guard movie. Everything you see here is rendered in real time using Epic's Unreal Engine. Basically, what you're watching is very good looking pre-viz, with environments capable of streaming live to stage during motion capture with our actors. While the visual quality is impressive, it's important to note that this is only meant to illustrate how the movie will feel and not how it will look. Everything will ultimately be sent to Weta to be recreated with cutting-edge photorealistic CG. Weta is the VFX team, the VFX studio that has worked on the Avatar movies as well, by the way. So that's the kind of team who he would want to have work on his movies. And take a peek at the vibe. Just look at the vibe that is set in this little segment here. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I don't know if it's copyrighted. But look at the vibe, right? this is looking at this gives me so much more faith in what he could do with a Legend of Zelda movie than it just being announced as a live action Legend of Zelda movie. Obviously, this isn't what the Mouse Guard movie would have looked like, but you get a good sense of his direction and stylistic choices with it and all of that. And seeing this translated in a Zelda way makes for a lot of sense, especially when he says that Zelda should be made in a similar vein as the James Cameron Avatar movies. And that sounds awesome because think about all of the creatures in Zelda, the Gorons, the what are the birds called? The birds? Rivali's, Gale. That's the Rito. Rito? I think that's right. Yeah. Yeah, Rito. Rito Village Doritos. I keep calling them Doritos because, Doritos. But yeah. Imagining all of that in what his vision for the Mouse Guard is, I feel like has put a lot more faith in me for this movie. And I know what else you're saying. But Alex, Avi Arad is also a producer on this movie. Avi Arad, he did Venom. He was a producer on Venom. He was a producer on Morbius. You know what else he was a producer on? You know what else he was a producer on? People are so quick to go to straight to the negative. He was also a producer on Across the Spider-Verse, on on Spider-Man No Way Home, on come on, Into the Spider-Verse, okay? He has been executive producer on a number of things that aren't all necessarily bad. It really just depends on how much he sticks his nose into it. And when you have a creative team, I don't know where I was going with that. But it's very possible. Wow, he has a lot of credits on a lot of bad Marvel stuff. But it's very, very possible that we don't get a Morbius out of him, out of his producing role, and instead get an Across the Spider-Verse or Into the Spider-Verse. Okay, folks? So don't be too worried just because Avi Arad's name is attached to it as well. That doesn't mean anything too bad. I am looking at this in the most hopeful way possible. And I do want to do a video where I kind of cast this movie because it sounds like a lot of fun. And it's not really something I could do right now because we're running really long. Okay, we're running really long because, like I said at the top, a lot of news stories, a lot of news stories. But yeah, I'm gonna say here right now though, you're not gonna like it. Tom Holland would be a great link. Next news story. Stay tuned for the full video where I do a whole cast breakdown of who I think should be casted. But in other news, this is a lot lesser news than we're now at the point where I could stop. I could stop this right now and we would have had a lot of great discussion about news, about all of the big news. But there's still a little bit of other news on the side that I could slide in here. It's really funny. I'll get to it when we get to it, actually. But yeah, this news story comes from VGC, written by Jordan Midler. Warner Brothers says it's focused on transforming its biggest franchises into service games. Warner Brothers boss wants to generate greater post-purchase revenue. All right. Warner Brothers Discovery CEO, yeah, David Zaslav has said the company is focused on turning its biggest gaming franchises into live service games. Speaking during the company's latest earnings call, Zaslav discussed plans to transform franchises like Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, DC, which is mainly Batman today, and Mortal Kombat, which he sees as individual billion-dollar gaming franchises, into service games. Our focus is on transforming our biggest franchises from largely console and PC based with 3 to 4 year release schedules to include more ways on gameplay through live services, multi-platform and free-to-play extensions with the goal to have more players spending more time on more platforms, Zaslav said. Ultimately, we want to drive engagement and monetization of longer life cycles and at higher levels. We have specific capabilities. We are currently under scale and see significant opportunity to generate greater post-purchase revenue. Warner Brothers has had a successful 2023 with significant releases such as the Harry Potter RPG Hogwarts Legacy, which, if I'm being completely honest, that game sucked. Anyways, but yeah, Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav, yeah. So, hey, fixing my chair. Yeah, it's happening. We're getting more live service games from Warner Brothers games, which, I don't know how they're gonna do that. Because as far as we know, obviously Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is obviously a live service game, which by the way I think is gonna be a lot better than anyone thinks it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be pretty good, okay? Everyone thinks it's gonna be a complete another trash fire. I think it's gonna be pretty good. I think you're gonna be very surprised by it. Mark it down. Obviously that's gonna be a live service game, but Monolith's Wonder Woman game, obviously we haven't seen any gameplay from that yet, so there's no way of knowing whether or not that has any like what do you call it? Any creepings of a live service title? I wouldn't think so because it is Monolith who did. Never mind, I take that back. Monolith did Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor, but in Shadow of War, if you recall, there was all those microtransactions you could spend for like siege upgrades for all of that stuff. If you recall, I don't recall it that much. That was such a long time ago. Man, where is the Wonder Woman game? That was such a long time ago. Yeah. Um. Wow. Shadow of War released in 2017. I think this is mirrored. It's reverse on the camera. But yeah, this came out in 2017 and it is 2023. 6 years later, where's Wonder Woman? I mean, I guess they worked on DLC for a little bit after that, but still, that seems crazy how long it's been since Monolith's last video game. Wonder Woman, I'm excited for that, of course. Am I a little bit worried about it now after this? No, I'm not. You know why? Because live service games aren't as bad as people say. I'm the number one defender or Avengers defender that I know, and I will always defend Avengers because that game was pretty good. But yeah, that's not a popular opinion. You can yell at me in the comments. Please do. It helps with engagement. But yeah, I imagine Wonder Woman is very much going to be similar to Shadow of War's monetization and not necessarily a, oh, look, there's 4 Wonder Womans here and we're all helping fight the big bad guy. Because that doesn't make sense. So I imagine similar to Shadow of War's microtransaction stuff, which also isn't that bad. People also just take that way out of proportion, I think, because just don't buy the microtransactions. I don't know why you're making a big deal about it. Whatever. Anyways, let's move on to our last news story, which also comes from VGC, written by Andy Robinson. Diablo IV expansion Vessel of Hatred revealed at BlizzCon. And now I'm going to say what was really funny that I started saying in the last story. What's really funny is that at the start of this week, I was like, oh, here is news story number 1. This is the biggest news story of the week. I can already tell. Diablo IV expansion, big deal. It's the last news story. It's the smallest news story now of the week. But yeah, basically, long story short, because we're already so long in the tooth, Diablo 4 expansion has been announced during BlizzCon's opening ceremony via a teaser trailer on Friday. The expansion will release in late 2024. Vessel of Hatred continues the grim tale that began in Diablo 4 as you learn the fate of the primeval Mephisto and his demonic plans for Sanctuary, Blizzard said. To do that, you'll be visiting a new region to Diablo 4, known by the locals as Nahantu. With this continuation of the campaign story comes new ways to play, new evils to vanquish, and a brand new class never before seen in the Diablo universe. Blizzard said it will reveal more details about the expansion next summer. So it's safe to assume that I don't know if you heard that. It's safe to assume that next summer is going to be, what do you call it? Got loud again. Next summer, it's safe to assume that that's going to be like, what do you call it? The not E3, whatever you want to call it. just Summer Games Fest now. Is that what we're calling it? The Xbox Summer Showcase, because that's now under them. So that's where we're likely to see more from it, I would imagine. Uh, I think it's cool. A lot of people are so quick to turn on video games, okay? Diablo 4 is still one of the most fun times I've had this year in a game. And everyone's turning on it so fast, and I don't understand. I feel like the only people who are turning on it are really the people who are like level 100 and all that, level 80. People who are getting real up there. I only got to level like 56 or something, I think, on my main character. So I don't know about all of those like end game issues people are seemingly having. But for me, Diablo 4 is still a blast and a half, and every day I wish I had more time in it. I had more time in the day so I could play more Diablo 4. But I'm playing Alan Wake 2, and I'm very excited to finish Alan Wake 2 so I can, of course, do the video review and so that I can just do catch up because Alan Wake 2, like I mentioned last week, is the last game that I have to play. I don't have to play any game, first of all. It's the last game that I want to play for like content and all of that sort of thing to like have impressions on. And then after that, it's really just catch up from all the other 2023 games. Starfield, I still have to go finish Starfield. I have to finish Cyberpunk. I have to finish Baldur's Gate. You know, all of these games that came out, I have to finish Resident Evil 4. I have to finish Armored Core 6. All of those games I need to finish and really start wrapping around what my top 10 of the year will be. And yeah, that's it for this episode. Like I said, there's a lot of news, so we ran pretty long. Not as long as we could have run if I gave every news story 100% focus. Like obviously that Diablo story didn't get much time. Didn't get much time at all. There's a new class that's cool. I'm excited about that. Um, but yeah, let's just face it. It's not Diablo 4 expansion news isn't that big of a deal when Grand Theft Auto 6 news is in the same video, so it's whatever. Um, yeah. These this was a good episode. What do you think? Let me know what you thought of this episode. I think it turned out pretty well. Lots of good discussion about AI, Grand Theft Auto, Game Awards nominees. So be ready for that. I'll be back here Monday. Hopefully, I'll upload it on Monday as well. We'll see how that goes for that. But yeah, that's it for the news. Like I said, that was all of it. Good episode. But let me know what you thought of the news. Are you excited about Grand Theft Auto 6? What do you think about AI in gaming? What's the best case use scenario of it, and what's the worst case? All of that stuff. Are you excited about the Zelda movie? Who would you cast? Think about it. Think about who you would cast in the Zelda movie, and then come back when I do that video where we cast the Zelda movie. Okay? Sound good? Great. Until then, though, the next episode of Talk About. Until the next episode, I'm really bad at ending videos. I don't know if you knew that. But until the next episode of Talk About, which is either going to be Alan Wake, either going to be the Video Game Awards, excuse me. It's called the Game Awards, not the Video Game Awards. The next episode of Talk About will either be Alan Wake 2 review video, or it'll be Game Awards nominee impressions reaction, or it'll be the next news. It's gonna be something, and I hope you're there. But until then, as always, stay safe and play some video games.